Raanan is fat and he's a Jew. He'll tell you something that you already knew. Your favorite movie sucks. Your favorite movie sucks. American Beauty or Forrest Gump. Your favorite movie sucks.
We are back with another episode of Your Favorite Movie Sucks. We have one of my favorite people, Jameela Jamil, great actress, from The Good Place. She is here to shit on romantic comedies with me, but also talk about one of my favorites, which you brought up the other day, which is As Good as It Gets.
Yes.
When was the first time you saw As Good as It Gets? Do you remember?
As soon as it came out. I went and saw it in the cinema, yeah.
And what did you think that first time?
Immediately, I thought it was the best thing I'd ever seen. I don't think it's probably aged that well, but at the time, it just felt so refreshing and so funny, and it taught me so much about the world without feeling like I was being spoon-fed.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You really start to understand like the nastiness of someone, like why people get so gnarled and mean.
Right.
And it all these different characters, they manage to summarize so much of society within 3 or 4 people.
Yes.
And I think they do an incredible job, and I think that does hold up in the film. Plus, I thought it was just so funny.
It is so funny, and I rewatched it yesterday. It is interesting to watch now.
Yeah.
Because, not to do the cliche, but this could not be made. And
I think that's a shame.
Yeah, it is a shame.
Because we're hiding the reality of people. And acting like it's not happening now.
Well, there's a certain point where we said, basically, if you're prejudiced, that's unforgivable. Like, if you're racist, if you're anti-Semitic. But to be fair, he's not really... They treat his anti-Semitism like it's just grumpiness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like real ideological.
Well, the same with his racism towards Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah.
And like the way he talks about women. We were both talking about our favorite line in the film.
Oh, yes,
like,
the greatest line of all time.
How do you rate women so well? And he goes, well, I think of a man and I take away all reason and accountability.
I feel like James L. Brooks had that line at some point. It was like, I'm going to use this one day.
100%. I think someone said it to him at a dinner party and he built the entire film around that single line.
It's the greatest line. Well, first of all, like we talked about before, there's nothing funnier than when someone compliments you and you insult them.
Yes.
Like, it's just such a funny,
so wild.
unnecessary thing.
Yeah.
You know the comedian Stuart Lee?
I'm obsessed with Stuart.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
And you're talking about the James Corden?
Yes.
Yeah. I've watched it like 9 times.
I watch it like every day. Yeah. It's amazing.
I love that you love Stuart Lee.
Oh, he's the best.
I'm obsessed with him.
He's the best. That line for the listeners, he just goes, James Corden thinks I'm his favorite comic. He thinks I'm the best. The feeling is not reciprocated.
Yeah. Yeah, he's such a bastard.
It's so funny. It's so funny to compliment someone and have that person just...
It's interesting. I was actually backstage at a big comedy, kind of like the Comedy Cellar of the UK. It was a comedy store, I think. And there were huge comedians going on. And these are some of the most confident comedians in Britain. And all of them were shitting themselves backstage because they heard Stuart Lee was staying and he was going to watch. And I was like, the power he has. And he's not even he's a kind of cult hit.
Yes,
He's a comedian's comedian.
Yes.
If you know, but he's not mainstream. He's decidedly not mainstream.
He's a comedian's comedian that makes fun of the comedians.
He's a bully.
He very much is.
He's a bully. And like everyone suddenly had the demeanor of how they would have felt going on at a school talent show in front of the school bully. And I was like, I don't think he knows he wields that kind of power.
Well, it's funny, but then I'm also like, it must be awkward when he's at a party and James Corden there.
It must be, but I think he also lives for that. He seems like an awkwardness pervert. You know what I mean? He lives for that tension and everything is fodder.
Yeah, exactly. It's a somewhat fucked up mentality, but it's hilarious. Hilarious on stage. It's 100%. Just... It's kind of the ultimate taboo is just making fun of other comedians.
But he also makes fun of himself quite a lot.
Yes, I think
that's
why he's
really
the best.
important.
Yeah.
I think he hates everyone. I think that's actually perfect that you brought him up because the lead, like Jack Nicholson's character, is someone who hates everyone, and ultimately it's because of how much he hates himself.
Yes, which also means you can't actually be to really be racist or anti-Semitic. You have to actually believe you are great. Yeah. He doesn't.
No.
You can be racist all you want as long as you don't think white people are superior.
He knows that he's not lovable. Or he's decided he's not lovable. So he's decided to hate everyone else in anticipation of them not loving him.
Right. Which is charming. Yeah. I mean, it's charming to hate everyone.
But that was explained to me as a child because this film was so profound.
Mm-hmm.
I understood that then as a child and was able to walk through the world with more empathy without someone having to sit down and be like, racism's bad.
Right.
Anti-Semitism's bad. Here's a person, they're the bad
Yeah.
guy. Like, I can't bear it.
And you see it as just his defense mechanisms and his fear.
Yeah, I don't want to watch a whole film about racism. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Or misogyny, or this, that, and the other. Like, I want to be led. I don't want to be waterboarded with the fucking point. The moral point. I want to be led to it.
Right. And
elegantly.
Yes.
Or through preferably through comedy. That's why The Good Place is so special, in my opinion, is because we're not shoving it up your ass. It's wrapped in fart and dick jokes that you can choose whether or not are the woke police coming to get me. But
for
you
saying
can
racism's not
but
bad.
That's not what I said.
They're coming right now.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly right. Like anytime you watch a movie about like racism being bad, you're like, we already know this, and if you don't know this, you're a fucked up person.
No, and the racist is always portrayed in the same way, and the misogynist is always portrayed in the
crazy.
same way.
This is like a bank heist. This is
I know. They are all here to get me.
This happened when I did your
Yeah, either that or they've heard a Muslim and a Jew are sitting down together.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it could not be made today because anyone who's like racist at all is evil today. Like you couldn't. That has to be the bad guy, right?
100%. And racism is horrific, and I have been on the receiving end of it. You have been on the receiving end of it many, many times. But especially right now in the world, we're both currently on the receiving end of it. But I would say that so much of it is ignorance rather than evil, and there's a neuroscience to racism, and there's a anthropology to racism because we're tribal. We're taught to distrust anyone who's different to us, and you have to overcome that. And the reason we know you can overcome it quite easily is via sports. Right, you have all these different people who might look at someone else and go, "You don't look like me, so you are them and we are us."
Right.
But as soon as you're all wearing the same sports jersey, doesn't matter what race or sexuality you are, it's like now it's us versus them, and suddenly you see in the stands a bunch of people standing together who would never normally choose to.
That's a great point.
Because now we're all wearing the same jersey. I can identify you. My brain can identify you as you're one of us.
Right.
So how transient prejudice can be once you have a commonality shows that we're not tackling these things intelligently.
Right, yeah, that's totally right. Because like a white guy, sports has gotten so many white people to cheer for black people.
Yeah,
even if they're racist, they cheer for black people.
And this is like Will and Grace.
Yeah,
like, it used comedy to, and I don't know if that was the point of the show, but that show happened to completely transform the way that we thought about gay people in America. Right. You know, all these RuPaul completely transformed the way that people would look at drag queens.
Right.
An icon of being able to use comedy and entertainment, and part of that is also neuroscience, right?
Yes.
The dopamine reaction someone gets because you're doing something that they love.
Right.
You know, Whoopi Goldberg, Eddie Murphy, Beyonce, like all these, like LeBron, like all these superstar performers, they created, and they shouldn't have to, and that shouldn't be how the world works. But we also can't ignore how the brain works.
Right.
And this is not what we're here to talk about at all. But but my point is that humor and empathy and entertainment does more to shift culture than scolding people.
Yes.
And scolding people in film. And, you know, like comedy has become for claps rather than laughs, which I think is infuriating.
Yeah.
And so this is like, these are the ways in which I get frustrated with the world.
Yeah, a funny Jew will do more than just going through the Holocaust Memorial Museum or being
100%.
forced to go to the Holocaust Memorial Museum.
God.
You know, like just a funny person that you like, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But also I do believe how hysterical and amazing Jewish people have been throughout the entire history of Hollywood has massively shifted culture towards loving Jewish people.
Adam Sandler's probably done more than any Diary of Anne Frank production.
But that's true as well. And also, like, you know, when we say to someone, we think that labeling someone and we think you can scare someone out of racism.
Yeah.
And we think, I'll be like, I'm going to label you an anti-Semite or an Islamophobe or this, that, and the other. And then you're going to stop doing it. And it's like, no. All that's going to happen is that person's now going to perform obedience, but their brain is going to get a cortisol, which is the stress hormone rise.
Right.
And they're going to identify you now as even less safe than they thought you were before.
It's true.
And the key is to make people feel safe and then manipulate them.
Yes, that's a great point. And that's like, this movie reminded, there was a special time in the 90s where this was like kind of the thing where like you weren't yelling at people, you weren't like morally condemning them. Like he's like racist and no one even gives him a lecture.
And a huge homophobic person. Like he's such a homophobe.
And everyone's just like, they never say like, they just say, quit being a dick. They treat it like he's just grumpy. They treat it like he's just like a curmudgeon.
Yeah.
Which is a funny way to treat it. It just could not, that idea of him just...
But he is a racist. He's a bigot light in that he's a bigot, but he's not a bigot. He's actually willing to go out of his way to destroy someone's life. He's not like do you know what I mean? He's not going to get the gay guy kicked out of the building. He's not going to, not that should be the bar. But my point is that it's all just psychological, and it shifts so fast the second that these people becomes us, a group of misfits on a trip.
Right.
Versus them.
Yeah, and I guess it is like this. Yeah, it's because it's not like. What's interesting now is like if you saw him now from this climate now, you'd be like, that's an anti-Semite, that's a racist, whatever.
Yeah,
You'd
don't talk to him.
Yeah, you'd label him, don't talk to him.
Don't pull him into the group. Like Helen Hunt, like wears him down with kindness, affection, and expectation to be better.
Exactly, yeah. But I also think like it's not really like. I mean, I also think it's not really like he says racist shit, but like I said, he hates everyone and he hates himself. That does make it okay.
He hates
kinda.
dogs at the start of the film.
Yeah.
Which is a bigger offense than any of the things that we've labeled.
Right.
Up until now.
Yeah,
like, that's the huge red flag. Yeah. He throws a dog down a trash chute.
That's the opening scene. Yeah. Opening shot.
Exactly.
It's like the opposite of the save the cat, you know, that screenplay
exactly.
thing. You gotta save the cat.
Yeah, kill the dog. Yeah.
Kill the dog, yeah.
Yeah, but that kill the dog was the concept of the 90s. It was unlikable people. Like Walter Matthau was the kind of master of the unlikable, lovable man.
Yeah. It's like impossible to make
But what we don't have is women.
No.
We don't have unlikable women that are then redeemed.
Right.
Fleabag was one of the first times we've really seen that.
Yeah, it's a good point. Like even Helen Hunt is like such a good person in this. You know?
Oh, women have to be so perfect. I've been pink pilling my boyfriend about just showing him through Hollywood, just being like, have you noticed how like the women are always annoying and the women are always like the inconvenience in the film, and the women get in the way, and they ask stupid fucking questions. And at first I think he wasn't really aware of it, and then I didn't say anything ever again. I just planted the seed. And now everything we watch, he was like, she's got no fucking lines. He was like, oh, she's being fucking annoying. Oh, all the women are negative and shitting on the men.
Yeah.
And you can see that it really plays out.
We were talking about that the other day about how like anytime a guy has a mission, like a cop or anything, an important mission, the woman's always there to be like, can you just stay home and quit caring about this serial killer that's killing women?
Yeah, she doesn't get him.
Yeah.
She doesn't get his ambition. She doesn't get his sense of humor. She doesn't see his value. Yeah. And yet she wants him to be around her all the time whilst having no idea who this actual man actually is.
Exactly. And she's seen as selfish for that. Like the idea that she doesn't care about the thing he's doing makes her like a cold bitch. He's like trying to save the world.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't care about the world. I want you to, this chicken's gone cold.
Yeah,
what they always
exactly,
say,
100%,
you know?
yeah.
So we just see them as like this, like, yeah, like an impediment on like a mission.
And I was saying to you, and I was talking to someone about this the other day, that the boyfriend in The Devil Wears Prada is like the villain of all time. Like we no longer think Miranda Priestley, her boss, is the villain. Everyone's now collectively decided actually the real villain was the boyfriend who didn't support her dreams and who always made her feel like she should have put him first. He's always disappointed. There's something very revolutionary about putting a man in that role that I think has been overseen.
Right.
Where we've never seen a man in that role. It's the man, like, because we never see the woman being the go-getter. And the way the internet violently hates him, like women fucking hate him. That actor doesn't even work anymore.
The guy's
because, yeah. He doesn't get any work. I haven't seen him in 10 years.
Yeah, so the minute you put a man in that role, he's hated.
Yeah.
But when a woman's in that role, we just accept it as an annoying thing.
But imagine what that's done to men, watching women in that role all the time. Do you know what I mean? It's like
we just see them as an obstacle.
Yeah, they must hate us because we hate. As soon as we see that, we hate it. Well, so they've only seen that. I'm like, fucking hell. No wonder you think we're so annoying.
We see them as a threat to our autonomy and our meaning in life. We have a mission, a meaning, something to do good in the world, a way to build fame or whatever. And the woman is holding you back.
Yeah, and testosterone makes you like goal orientated.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like I must accomplish, I must achieve, conquer.
Yes,
like you
yes.
know, and so it's like, oh, what about me? Like that's every fucking role. And now the listeners, now that you see it, I want you to look out for it because it's so.
It's
prevalent.
every role, yeah. I know there's a movie The Heat with Pacino. He's literally trying to stop a serial killer, and she's like giving him shit for not being home in time. Like she doesn't care about these women getting killed.
Yeah,
she's not even a feminist. He's like trying to save women he's like, I'm sorry, I had to try to save prostitutes or whatever from getting killed.
Yeah.
I'm sorry we couldn't have a longer dinner. Yeah, no, I mean it does affect. I mean it's definitely affected my view, and I've dealt with this in relationships where I will just want to work and do my thing. And then, you know, my girlfriend's over here like, let's, you know, go out. I'm like, no, you're stopping me from the, you know, you associate.
But you also want someone to touch your penis.
Yes,
so you have to put in the penis hours.
That's
right?
true. That's true. Well, but it's wrong to see her that way in general.
Yeah. But you've been trained
Yes.
to see that as a negative, you've been trained to see that as a trope of women.
Yes. As
And
opposed
actually,
to like,
yeah.
it's good to take a break and have human connection.
Yeah, totally. Like these men are all so like fucked up and stoic and keeping everything inside, and it's so funny. Hollywood is so funny. Hollywood's a fucking psyop, and I never used to believe that, but now I really genuinely do. Where I'm just like, everything that sucks in society about the way we all treat each other, you can trace all of it back to Hollywood.
Well, definitely romantic films. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
But also like whoever they make the current villain, like for years it was the Russians during the war with Russia, then it was like Muslims, or the war with like Iraq. Like it's like you can see it in different areas, but you can see it with men, women, different racial groups, the way they stereotype Jewish people, stereotype Indians, stereotype black people. Like it's a fucking psyop. I love the psyop. I worship at the Church of Psyop, not Scientology. But I'm just saying that like the more I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. And the 90s felt like a liberated time.
Yes. Liberated from some of those.
Yeah. Where we were just like, young artists were just trying to say something.
Yes. Breaking free. I mean, I definitely feel the stereotypes of movies as an overweight person.
Yeah.
In romantic comedies, I used to do a bit about this. There's always a fat friend.
Yeah, the horny fat friend.
He's always horny, and he only cares about getting laid. And he doesn't just care. It's not even about him getting laid. He's mainly concerned about the main character getting laid.
Yeah.
He's like, come on, did you fuck her already?
Yeah.
I would have fucked her by now. Like, and it's associated horniness with fat. Like when you're fat, I guess it's like a gluttony thing.
Well, it's same with like fat black women specifically in film are always desperate to get fucked.
Right.
Like just like hungry for any
What is
dick.
that? Fat horny. It's just, I guess they're like, if you have no willpower with eating, that means you have no willpower with
I think
sex.
it's more that you're so desperate because no one would want you, right? That's
Hit me to the core.
but that's their telling of it, and it's so
It's fucked me up.
crazy. And then also like, funnily enough, conversely, and I can totally appreciate it. Like it fucked me up in my brain, like growing up as well. But you'll see a chubbier man, who might even be balding as well, but he's with a very attractive wife, but you never see that the other way around.
Like a hot guy with an ugly wife.
Yeah, unless it's like a Wayans brothers skit, you know?
It's true. It is always true. You never see like it.
You'll see Kevin James with
like,
Winona Ryder.
or Seth
but
Rogen
you
with
won't
Kat-
see. Yeah, exactly. With Charlize fucking Theron.
Not only will it show them that, it won't even show like that if that relationship was in reality, the dynamics would be a little off. Like in Knocked Up, she's like, can you quit weed? And he's like, oh, fuck you. In reality, he'd be like, I'll do anything for you. You're a goddess.
That's actually not true.
Yeah?
I was dating a man much bigger than me, like 10 times bigger than me, I would say. And
That guy, wow, what a hero.
Oh, shut up. But my point is that he put me like on a bus with all of my belongings and was like, I choose weed.
Really?
He was a huge stoner. I got really triggered by Knocked Up, and it came out around the time that we broke up.
So
and I was
Knocked
like,
Up was
fuck.
like the.
I was like, oh fucking hell! Like he later regretted it, but it was too late.
So he put you on the bus, even though he's fat.
He put me on the bus. I was like, it's me or weed, and he was like, weed.
He
Bye.
chose weed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Chucked me out.
Good for him.
But
I guess not all fat people are that desperate.
He was not desperate at all, no. But yeah, he was like the big love of my life.
Oh, really?
When I was in my 20s, yeah. And I was devastated.
That's what you get for going with a fat guy. Because we hate ourselves. So if you get with him, then suddenly he's like,
It was really frustrating. And I think actually Hollywood did do a number on his brain because he believed and his friends convinced him that I would inevitably leave him and I would never have left him.
Right. So he's pulling the kind of Jack Nicholson, like, get out.
Yeah, very much so. It was very like,
hurt.
I'm going to push you away. And I was like, 2.5 years, we were going to get married.
Crazy.
It was mad. But there was nothing I could do to overall. And then by the time that he'd figured it out, it was too late.
Oh my God, he was just too afraid. Yeah, I mean, I guess I've been there too, where you just kind of like, you're like afraid to get hurt, so you just act really guarded.
Totally. I mean, I was a very chubby teenager, so I was very much so like pushing people away before they could, like very defensive. My clothing was very like protective and defensive, and film taught me. I mean, it just erased bigger women. So I was like,
Right.
oh, I don't even exist. I'm not even the funny friend. I don't exist.
Wow, chubby and Indian.
And
the
Indian,
worst
like literally,
treatment of Hollywood.
Yeah, 100%. Like too fat to be like a terrorist, like.
No, it's true. The fat thing, I really do think Hollywood.
It's a
fat thing
psyop.
gets it's fucked me up a lot. It's not just the fat. So there's a fat friend that really fucked me up. Just him always being
Your
horny.
bit on that, like, was one of the first things that made me love you. Like, honestly,
really?
it's so funny.
Oh, I was slipping it in there. I'm
Yeah.
embarrassed you knew it. I kind of ran it just now.
No, I love it. I love it.
Oh, thank you. But like, there's a lot of pain in that. But like, also the other thing that's the fat thing that like is fat kids in movies are never like every Spielberg movie, the main kid's always thin and the fat kid's always a bully. That's the
Yeah.
thing that really fucked me up. Fat kids being bullies in movies.
Right.
Because I was bullied.
Yeah.
The fat kid is bullied.
Yeah.
But in movies, he's the bully.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense. In movies, it's like a cute little kid bullied by a fat guy.
Yeah.
And the kid at no point is like, fuck you, fat ass. Like,
Yeah.
at no point does he even call the, like,
Yeah, the 80s was a wild time.
yeah. It's just, they don't get it right. Like, having a fat guy be the bully is like having a Jew be the bad guy in a Nazi movie. you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Very, exactly like that.
So stupid.
Exactly like that.
But also what's interesting is the way that Hollywood made the stupid handsome jock cool.
Yes.
And the intelligent kid that's actually going to go somewhere.
Yes.
The nerd, the loser who no one wants to fuck, who's
Right.
a creep.
Right.
Like we demonized intelligence, work ethic, caring about school or your future.
True.
And made like knuckleheads who
Right.
have good bone structures the goal. And you can see how that's played out across America.
Yeah, now these nerds are angry and want to destroy the world.
Yeah, they
They're so
are.
mad. Yeah.
That's it. They're
But it's
going.
a
They're
great
hunting
point.
us down.
I mean-
They're the new they're like AI school shooters.
Yeah, no, you're right. Saved by the Bell. You remember Saved by the Bell?
Yeah, Screech.
Screech created
Screech.
a sentient robot. A robot who has consciousness.
Yeah.
And no one gave a shit.
Exactly.
We're just focused on Zach Morris, whether
know.
he gets Kelly. Screech is over here, like, splitting atoms
Yeah.
and creating consciousness for a robot. They don't give a shit. They're just like, shut up with your robot. Lisa is like, yeah, shut up, you nerd.
It's anti-intellectualism.
Yeah,
Like,
it really is.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean,
come here and I've like matrix pilled you or something.
No, you're right. I mean, Hollywood fucks you up so much. I mean, the romantic comedies in general fuck you up, you know?
The way we have sex gets
Yeah.
fucked up by Hollywood because people start performing sex.
Right.
Did you ever do that? Did you ever
Performing sex?
did you ever have like a movie, like not a movie scene in particular, but you're impersonating what you've seen in a film during sex when you were young?
I guess I've impersonated a lot that part where he comes early and
Yeah.
times on Richmond High. I've been impersonating
Where she
that.
doesn't come? You've
she
impersonated
doesn't come,
that?
and he comes early. No, I mean, I guess so. I mean, I guess there's some sense of maybe not specifically sex, but some sense of the rom-com idea. Yeah, I guess I guess our sense
I
of
hear the sounds women make sometimes when they're having sex,
Yeah,
and
it's
I'm
like-
like,
it's like-
you learned that.
we're just imitating what we've seen in movies.
We can't help it. It's
Yeah.
so influential.
Romantic comedies have fucked up. I think. I mean, As Good as It Gets is a good one, you know.
Yeah.
But I think romantic comedies in general have like fucked up. I mean, also, first of all, people are just too hot. Like that's what fucks up shit.
Yes,
You know?
100%. And when the very thin woman
Mm-hmm.
eats some ice cream, and we're like, what a pig. Just fuck off.
The one I find really annoying is in what's the one? Love Actually.
Oh, yeah.
There's the part where the guy's holding cue cards to Keira Knightley.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like,
And
to
she's
me, you're
18.
perfect.
Yeah.
18. But he goes, to me, well, this is going to go again. I'm about to say she's perfect myself. But he goes, to me, you're perfect. But I'm like, yes, but she's so hot.
Yeah.
Like, that's an easy thing to say.
I know, that's so funny.
Let's
That's
have
so
him
true.
say
It's
that
like,
to, like, a
yeah,
chubby girl.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well done to Kate Moss.
Yeah. Like, to me, you're because
Yeah.
a lot of romantic comedies is like, you're just the most gorgeous woman. But that is the most gorgeous woman.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think that's why people they still go back to When Harry Met Sally. Because
Yes,
you were like, you both
an
look like
ugly
human
Jew.
beings. So, but they both look like human beings. Like,
Yes.
as cute as Meg Ryan was, she wasn't this sort of Angelina Jolie level,
right.
perfect,
She
like
was down to
sex
earth,
goddess. Like,
down
she's
to earth
quirky
cute.
dresser, big frizzy hair. So it was just sort of like, it felt like, oh, I know someone like that, or I am that person.
Which is interesting because if you think of the most successful romantic comedies, they are kind of girls like Diane Keaton and Annie Hall.
Yeah.
She's not like an overt sex symbol.
But this is why Hollywood's so fucking dumb, because we don't want to see Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell.
Someone just be like, Sydney Sweeney,
fall
you're
in love.
really beautiful to me. To me, you're just really.
Yeah.
To me, you're perfect.
And I love Sydney Sweeney,
Yeah.
and I think she's fucking brilliant. But like that film, it's like we don't want to watch like The Bachelor scripted.
Right.
It's like where the hottest people in the world are. Oh, no way they're going to fuck on a boat. No shit, Sherlock. They're going to fall in love in their swimsuits.
Right.
Shock.
No, it's true. It's like the ones that are the most popular. You got Helen Hunt in this, who does not look
100%. Like a supermodel? No.
Yeah, not at all. I remember, like, I feel like I used to have a real crush on her.
Yeah.
But I watch her now, I'm like, I guess it was a different time.
Well, yeah, because our brains hadn't been fucked by filters.
That's what it is.
And by seeing everyone
Yeah,
with
I'm
the
like, what is
same
going-
nose, the same lips, the same tits. Like, we used to have taste. We don't have taste anymore.
Yeah, I guess that's
taste
what it
is
is.
dictated to us. We don't have taste. Taste
She
has
has
us.
like her own identity. It's a real turnoff.
Yeah, it's and Greg Kinnear is so wonderful in that
amazing.
film.
I will say, going back to the movie, I will say the most moving part to me out of all the parts is when Greg Kinnear will go to the end when he paints again, when he's looking at her naked.
100%.
That part's just incredible.
Yeah.
Because I forget, like, James L. Brooks is very good at making a movie feel like very light, but if you think about it, it's really depressing.
Yeah.
But you have to kind of think about it because it feels.
But that's the only way we can say anything serious. It's
Yeah.
the spoonful of sugar that helps the medicine go down.
Right. And he's the master at that because it has a light tone, but like Greg Kinnear's situation is awful.
Fucked.
And the worst part, like, it's really humiliating that he has to go back to his parents just for money.
Yeah.
Like, they disowned him for basically being gay. And now he has to go back and be like, can I get some money?
Yeah, and he has to allow himself to be like bigoted at by this man to drive him to his parents.
Yeah, a homophobe driving him to his homophobic father so he can ask the homophobic father for
Yeah,
money.
it's a crazy film, but
He's literally being helped by only homophobes.
But it's a beautiful film in my opinion.
It is beautiful. And the moment where he starts painting her is just great because you like. Well, you know what? It's also a surprise in that moment because like he's not been the main. He's been a. I mean, it is them three, but it's mostly focused
He's
on
the
Jack.
glue for the two of them.
He's the glue for the two of
Yeah.
them. But it gives him that personal moment. And you also forget, like, one of the reasons he's broke is he can't paint anymore.
But it's also, and it's beautiful for him, but it's also beautiful for her
Yes.
to be seen in that way, and the way
Yes.
she lowers the towel
Yes.
a little bit to make it
Yes.
even sexier. And you're like, this woman who has felt so unsexy, and like
Yes.
she's just a nurse and a carer and covered in sick and vomit.
Kids vomit on
and,
her tits.
You know, that's the scene where she's hooking up with the guy, and
It's
he's
so beautiful.
He's like, this is too much reality for a Friday night.
Which, by the way, all right, I always remember that scene, and that line always stuck with me.
Yeah.
It's a very cruel line. But
Yeah.
very witty. Everyone's very witty in this.
Yeah, it's a perfect script.
I will say, though, I did kind of identify with him a little watching again because in his defense...
Anyone would, but you're not supposed to say it.
You're not supposed to say it, but in his defense, if you're hooking up with a woman and she leaves and comes back with her kid's throw up on her breast, it's a little bit of a turnoff.
Totally. But
is
you've
a
got
lot.
to. But you have to say you have diarrhea. You have to put it on you.
You don't be mean about it.
You don't be mean and then make the woman who's covered in vomit feel worse about her sick kid.
You don't have like a perfect
No,
line
he's
to
a
say.
monster. He's a monster.
That part. Okay, that part.
Yeah.
But the part where like it's hard to hook up.
Yeah.
Vomit. Once you put vomit in the situation.
But I love that they show that, and I love they show her. Like, it's just a fucking amazing interpersonal relationship. Like, you understand the mother's dynamic
Yes.
with her, like all of it.
he's such a great screenwriter where like a lot of movies, like little visual moments stick with me. With him, James L. Brooks in this movie, the lines stick with you over the years.
Yeah.
Even that little line, Too Much Reality for Friday Night, it's just such a famous
I haven't seen this
line.
film in 10 years.
Yeah.
And I remember.
So many great lines. I mean, like, the movie it kind of reminds me of a little in a similar... They came out at the same time as Jerry Maguire.
Yes.
They have a very similar vibe where... In As Good as It Gets, he kind of falls in love with the dog first, and that opens him to other people.
Yeah.
Jerry Maguire, he falls in love with the kid first.
Yeah.
And then that kind of opens him up to the...
Classic Hollywood.
Yeah, classic Hollywood. You got a kid or a dog. But they both have kind of like classic lines.
Yeah.
As Good as It Gets is much funnier. I mean, the thing about As Good as It Gets is also just, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and I prefer films like that. I don't like romantic films.
Yeah.
I like romantic comedies.
Yes.
I find romance deplorable, and it makes me feel sick. And I think... Actually, this is another way that Hollywood really fucked up the world, which is that displaying romance with such pageantry in such a theatrical way,
right,
I think really fucked up relationships and gave men and women, but especially women, I think, bizarre expectations of what means someone likes you.
Yeah.
We didn't learn people's individual gestures. It's like it's just like flowers, chocolates,
yeah,
standing outside your house in the rain, running in the rain. I thought I would enjoy kissing in the rain. I fucking hated it so much. It made me so angry.
Those big gestures distract from the real part of a relationship. Is like, what do you do after those gestures?
Yeah.
When you're just sitting around alone, with your girlfriend.
Exactly. And we never saw after the moment that they actually hook up.
That's the
with
ultimate
each other.
lie, right? The ultimate lie is the end of every romantic comedy.
Yeah, it's like that's when the shit starts, because you get to know each other's childhood trauma.
It just stays on the infatuation part.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times too, I feel like a lot of romantic comedies, there'll be like a guy who's slubby and he's into like this girl who's really hot, but then he has a friend and she's really who he's really like doesn't realize is really hot,
yeah.
but she's also stunning.
Yeah.
So at the end he gets with the friend, but it's kind of like romantic comedies are like, it's like the fantasy of what if the girl you were infatuated with high school was also the friend you ended up fucking?
Yeah.
And it's like a combination of all that.
But also the way that it taught women, it kind of conditioned women to like the bad boy instead of the nice guy. And that never resonated with me. I always liked the nice guy.
Yeah.
I've never, ever, ever like that. Nothing closes my vagina up, like seals it up faster. Like,
than
a nasty man, like
really?
Or the cool guy. As soon as if I see a leather jacket, like it's like zip, pussy, zip. I just don't. I've always loved nice guys, and I've never understood. And I've watched so many of my lovely male friends be overlooked because they've been dehumanized, desexualized. Asians have been dehumanized, desexualized in film, South Asians, East Asians, whatever. But nice men, kind men, thoughtful men have been desexualized.
Yes.
And complicated, quote unquote complicated, which is just bastards who are handsome, have been, like, oh, I'm going to fix him. I'm going to be the girl that he loves. He's going to change for me. And it's like, oh, let's watch the horror movie that is that After Ever After.
And that's created by the rom-coms in a sense, right?
100%.
Like the kind of hot broken guy.
Yeah, the hot broken man became romanticized, and then we desexualized the nice man. It's like the nice man is so much better in bed.
Right.
Maybe more inhibited. Maybe that makes him less good in bed. But either way, like he's way more likely to learn what you like during cunnilingus than the selfish prick who thinks he's God's gift.
He's open to feedback.
Yeah, and also the fucking stoic. The stoic silent man.
The stoic silent man
makes me so angry. My boyfriend loses it at the stoic silent man.
The aloof stoic silent man, because it makes women attracted to aloofness as opposed to a guy who's like, no, I'm really into it. And that aloofness is always like a
100%. I turn down 90% of anything that comes my way script wise because of these tropes.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, I just don't want to participate in this in culture. I don't want to play the nagging. I always get offered the nagging girlfriend. I've been offered 4 big roles as a nagging girlfriend. And I'm like, oh my God, who is writing this shit?
Is it the one that we were talking about where you're telling them not to save the world?
It's always, it's not don't save the world, but it's like, don't go after your dream because I want a ring on my finger. And I'm like, God, are we still doing this? I want to make something where there's a short man with a tall woman and we don't talk about it. I want to do something where 2 people are friends friends and they don't fuck at the end. You know, I want to make shit that hasn't been seen before. The reason I always go for villain roles is because I'm like, I get to live in my own universe and make something new.
Right.
You know?
No, for sure. I think one of the reasons that it really fucked me up, back in the day, I used to fall in love with like Friends. Like in high school.
Yeah.
And I think in romantic comedies, that is kind of when Harry Met Sally, the ultimate lie, that they get together at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they are friends. So like, I do think that lie too.
They do sometimes get together, you know, but who knows if they stay together. The guy that I was with, the one who broke up with me.
The fat guy.
Yeah. He was my best friend and we ended up getting it together, but but Hollywood got into his brain.
Hollywood got into his brain. He wanted to be well, you know what you dealt with? You dealt with the nice guy who wants to be, or the fat guy who wants to also be the asshole. The guy who wants to be, I've done this too.
He wasn't being an asshole, but he was just definitely like, he didn't want to give anything up for me because he didn't think I was going to stick around.
But I think from like, I don't know, maybe I'm projecting, but for me, like back in the day, like when a girl would be into me and I'd be like, oh, you think I'm the nice guy because I'm disheveled and overweight.
Sure.
I'll treat you as if I'm hot and aloof.
Oh, that's so dark and funny.
But it's true. Like I was like, so many girls learn from me that the chubby guy is also not nice.
Well, it's chubby and male in thin dominated spaces, right?
Yeah. But I'm like, you just think I'm nice because I'm, you know.
Yeah. You know, do you remember the film, is it Roxanne?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I was living that as a teenager.
Really?
Right? So I was very unattractive as a teenager. No one fancied me. My first kiss was when I was 21. And that was the friend that then eventually broke up with me. So I was just nothing was working. Like I was way too tall, so much taller than all the boys and the girls. Like very, I was just a very unattractive kid by the fucking whatever the current standards then were. And so the hot girls at school would get me to write to the hot boys at the other school, at like the, you know, you have like a boys' school and a girls' school.
You were like the ugly
so
messenger?
I was the ugly messenger. So, and because I was interested in boys stuff, right?
Yeah.
I was like video games, football, They were like, you can speak boy. so you type to the boys and they'll think it's us. So these boys were falling in love with me. But they didn't know. And then they would look through me at the house party and I would watch them go over to this fucking dumb bitch who doesn't know anything.
You were Steve Martin.
Yeah, and I was having to literally that. And so that film, I still can't watch that film. It still triggers the shit out of me because that was my childhood.
Wow. So they'd have a connection with you and then just be with the...
Yeah.
Well, that's how I feel on stage all the time. I feel like I make women laugh and they go home and fuck their humorless boyfriend. You know?
You're the fluffer.
Yeah, I'm the fluffer.
Yeah.
That's what a comedian is.
Yeah.
A comedian's there because relationships are boring and they go, I'm the entertaining one, you know?
Oh, man. It's stressful. It's really stressful.
But as good as it gets, I mean, like, it is interesting to watch, like, him slowly come out of his shell too. It's fascinating because they don't really talk about his past at all, you know?
No.
And you're wondering, like, he says one line at the end, but this movie does not have a much, like, you kind of wonder, like, what happened to him all these years?
Oh yeah. I think I would have loved a more in-depth version of it, but I think you kind of get the sense. I think his OCD is a really big part of it. We don't know what kind of triggers the OCD, but him having severe like life destroying OCD.
Right.
Is like part of whatever's made him a pariah.
Right.
He's a mentally ill person who's really struggling.
And then at the end, I wonder if OCD people find it offensive when he walks across this and she's like, I can't, you have to walk next to me.
Yeah.
Like this idea that like OCD people are like, you see, love will just break you free from this.
Yeah. I guess it's a kind of immersive therapy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it like immersive therapy?
Yeah,
What's it called?
Exposure
therapy. Yeah. I was talking about this the other day on my podcast where I was like, I got taken to a bush full of bees because I had a phobia of bees. And you do all the steps of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and the final one is to go like to the thing that you're the most afraid of and interact with it.
I'm doing that now by being in a relationship.
Well, I got stung.
Really?
Yeah, and I was allergic, so it was like a huge catastrophe and made me way more afraid of bees. After that, it fully backfired. Yeah.
So now you're just even more terrified.
I'm the most afraid I've ever been.
Oh, wow. That way, yeah, they never talk about the backfire exposure thing.
No.
But I
That
feel
doesn't
like
make
that
the
happens-
documentary, where you lick the toilet seat and then you get like, exactly.
Or shigellosis, yeah.
Yeah.
You put a room with a snake and the snake bites you.
Yeah, and you
get
die. Yeah, it eats you. Yeah. But yeah, As Good as It Gets is kind of it's like The Breakup is another film I said to you was like one of my favorite.
I don't know this
rom-coms.
one. This
is Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston.
Okay.
And Jon Favreau. And it's
Okay.
a fucking
I gotta watch this one.
masterpiece of a rom-com. And it's the anti-rom-com. There's no romance in it, but it's about love.
Really?
It just that it feels like war, but it's really like love is at the basis of hate.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
and it takes you through the breakup of two people who absolutely should be together, but they can't resolve their shit. And they're not doing the work on the shit that they have with each other. And especially the guy, Vince Vaughn, is just so stubborn in his ways. I think you will love this movie.
I gotta check it
and
out.
Jon Favreau is unreal as the best friend.
Oh, he's the fat.
Yeah,
he's
and
the
Jason,
fat friend.
he is the fat friend who's rooting for the relationship.
There's been a lot of great fat friends. They're always rooting for the relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Jon Favreau doesn't have a girlfriend in the film.
Does he tell her? Does he give her the run to her line at the end?
But in the funniest way you've
In the
ever
funniest
seen.
way? Okay.
Yeah, it's not just run to her. It's like it's an extraordinary, like you've never seen a man call out another man in that way ever in a film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he really
Like
calls
call
him on his
pussy or
shit. Yeah,
something, or
no, he just explains to him his selfishness and doesn't just talk about his selfishness in the relationship. Also, then takes that opportunity to relay his selfishness in the friendship. And they have this like incredible come to Jesus moment.
I gotta check this out.
About what a selfish prick he is.
I gotta check this out.
It's an incredible. I think it's a. I'll come on again.
Okay.
After you've watched it.
After I watch, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to make a rom-com called The Fat Friend and just
Let's
focus
go.
on the fat.
Let's go. I'll be the Indian, like,
The nerdy
Indian who isn't a terrorist.
It is like the fat
Or a doctor.
Yeah, there's either the fat friend or the gay friend, and either one of them can tell you the guy to run to her at the end.
Yeah.
The whole run to her thing, which As Good as It Gets does do,
Yeah.
though it does it in a kind of a nuanced way.
But you do need a friend sometimes to be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like that.
Right.
That is the one thing I think is realistic.
But do people ever run to each people?
No, the running, the actual physically running is insane.
There's no really running.
I don't run unless I'm being chased.
Yeah,
I would
like-
never run for love. Like if I can't walk at a
Right.
calm pace to love, I'm not doing it.
In every movie, first of all, in every movie, it's like you're literally like it would be stalking. You're coming to the person's house.
Yes.
It's actually kind of insane. And
Yeah,
he comes.
totally.
She's actually kind of a crazy person for letting him in her life.
Yeah. He's such a scary, terrible man.
But this is the 90s. People have no boundaries. Like now we don't talk to people anymore. But like she would literally let her, like a guy who just goes to the restaurant to come to her house, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, the run to, I never got the run to. I mean, it's in every Love Actually. He runs through the airport.
I've been in a relationship for 11 years. I've not run to that man one time.
Yeah.
And we're doing just fine.
Only
We walk at a leisurely pace.
only stalkers run. I feel like stalkers will run.
Yeah.
You know, stalkers will run to you. But you know,
But again, we turned like obsessive stalking into the way you identify whether this is love or not.
Yes,
There's an
yes.
amazing Nat King Cole song called This Can't Be Love, where he kind of takes this on head on, like light years ahead of his time.
Mm-hmm.
He's singing to his friend or whatever, the woman that he's dating, like, this can't be love because I feel too well. Like, you know, I'm eating properly. I'm sleeping really well.
interesting.
So it's like, you know, so I'm not in love with you. I just love to be who you are. And Hollywood, this is another way that Hollywood's fucked everyone up. Why am I in this industry? So it romanticizes what is actually just a fight or flight response between two people who absolutely shouldn't be together.
Yes.
And
Yes.
because it wouldn't make great cinema
It's comical.
to see two people be
Yeah.
like, oh, I feel so safe with you. Oh, I feel really safe in myself with you too.
and easy and not.
We've glamorized.
Yeah.
So then people all the time pass over the person that makes them feel safe, thinking, well, that's not love. James and I almost did that with each other. We almost missed the boat because we'd both been conditioned by music and film
Yes.
and art
Yes.
to go, oh, I feel myself with you, and I'm fine if I'm not losing weight. I'm actually getting fappy, which is fatter and happier. Like, you know, like I'm sleeping. I just feel great all the time. We've been told it's butterflies, which is the most disgusting.
Yes. It's ruined me. Ruined me.
It's the most insidious, despicable way of recharacterizing a fight or flight reaction.
Yes.
Butterflies.
Hollywood has made us confuse
butterflies. It's not
infatuation
fucking
with
butterflies.
love. Yeah.
You're being like shot with like a voltage up your asshole.
Right.
It's electrocution.
And it's also right. And it's also like in romantic comedy, it's this obsession, and then it's full of witty lines. Everyone's on. In reality, you're trying to be with someone where you feel comfortable being off.
Yeah.
But you can't show that in a
No
movie.
one wants to see that movie. No one wants to see you
People
like
being boring on the couch.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's definitely was my relationship. It was a familiarity.
Yeah.
Feeling comfortable with her, feeling like just easiness.
Well,
not obsession.
You're being told that's not exciting.
Yeah,
Hollywood.
exactly. Yeah, you want just fucking intense obsession.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the stalker part.
Yeah.
That's the stalker.
It's legalized stalking.
Yeah, rom-coms are. Yeah, they're basically just trying to create fantasy obsessed stalkers.
Yeah. In every way. It fucked our society in every single way. And and this is why the nice guy gets overlooked as well. The man that makes you feel safe,
right,
is considered not exciting.
And it's like
love's not supposed to be exciting.
Yes, because the truth is, the guy coming to your house with a boombox is gonna kill you.
Yes.
In reality.
Yeah.
He's trespassing.
Yeah.
He's invading.
People are locked in a house right now listening to this with the guy who had the boombox.
He's not respecting your boundaries.
100%.
The nice guy is like, whatever I'm not gonna run to you, but if you want to meet up somewhere, I'll meet you somewhere.
Oh, crazy.
But they never have the rom-com where you're like, let's meet up. It's always some dude running to like fucking
There's
demand.
always huge conflict and all these different things. You know, James and I almost didn't. We used to tell each other like all the time at the beginning in the first like year and a half. It's like, I love you, I'm just not in love with you, and we didn't know what any of that meant. We were just repeating jargon that we'd learned in fucking movies. And then I realized I was like, well, we couldn't stay away from each other. Every time we try and break up with each other, it was just like it felt like the world was ending. That's when I would get that feeling.
That's the thing. It's the not being able to break up with someone.
Yeah,
that's the part.
Yeah,
it's not the
where it feels like the world is like off its axis.
Yes,
you know, and then when we're back together again, it's like, oh, I feel safe and I feel calm again. It's lovely. Like it's the easiest time I've ever had in love, and I would have missed the boat if I hadn't rejected the Hollywood and the art.
Yeah, you weren't
the music.
Feeling this.
Yeah, it's like I would do anything for love. Fuck off.
It's music too. They both fucking.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Art. It's everything. It's literature.
Yes.
Literature, the epitome of that. Literature fucking started this shit.
Yeah, it's true. Romantic literature.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean it's a great point. I mean, like, and I definitely took a long time to get into a relationship where I understood that. It took a long time of like obsessing over people who weren't into me.
Yeah.
Because that's
familiar also. So as you're coming through your sexual awakening, you're getting rejected, and then that's kind of becoming your taste.
Yes.
Because that's the comfort zone, right?
I talk about that in stand-up. It's like when a girl rejected me, I'd be like, this is nostalgic because it reminded me of my childhood.
Would you get the ick if a girl was really into you? And you'd be like, what's wrong with you?
Me. I'm a kid again.
Yeah. But I think that's where like the Louis C.K. thing comes from. Not as in, I'm not comparing you in any way to Louis C.K., but I'm saying that like, I think that like when I reckon his like mother walked in on him having a wank and told him off. And that's why he's obsessed with someone like shaming him. And I can't think of what mine was specifically. I think I'm quite immune to certain things.
Probably.
Which one? Well, yeah. I just casually diagnosed Louis C.K.
That sounds exactly right.
But that would make sense as to why he wants women to be like, oh, what are you doing while he's
recreating
masturbating?
That shame, from your mom.
It's really weird. I know him. I wonder what. Yeah. Tell him. He's at probably at the Comedy Cellar downstairs. What I can't think of what mine probably was. I think mine was believing excitement and toxic people were what I should be looking for.
That's me too. Yeah.
I think to a degree, but I think I always knew I reject anything arbitrary, and I always have since I was a kid. I always rebelled against anything that I felt like I was supposed to think. So I think I escaped some of that, thank God.
Well, that's good. I did not.
But I definitely desexualized myself further from never having seen Indians as the love interest or the sex interest or anything other than like someone's doctor who's got a 2-minute role. who always has got really thick accent, even though they've been living in America for 25 years. You know,
You're just the doctor in the rom-com.
that's it. I'm the doctor who diagnoses, like, I'm just like a minor plot point.
Or the thing
you know,
they used to do where the Indian person always said curse words wrong. That was the big thing.
So
fuck you, like, you
Exactly.
fuck myself, or whatever. They'd always just get curse words wrong.
You bloody bastard bitch.
Yeah.
They can never say
We
anything
love
right.
that.
Yeah.
For some reason, that was a big thing.
Everyone loved angry Indians.
Yeah, angry
you know?
Indians not saying curse
Angry
words
cab
correctly.
drivers or like
you don't know
smug
English.
doctors.
It's adorable.
Yeah. And so I just, you know, in my real life and on screen, all I was ever experiencing was facilitating white people finding love.
Wow.
You know, that was the hot guys and the hot girls. They were all like beautiful Swedish fucking like Vikings.
Wow.
Just like young Vikings. And really, like I said, he was falling in love with me and he just didn't know.
the chubbiness and the Indian is because at least I feel like being Jewish, that has become part of the romantic comedy thing.
Totally.
We kind of after Annie Hall, we really slipped in there.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah. And Woody Allen is, I mean, people, well, now he's a little problematic, but at the time he was like a romantic figure in the sense.
Icon, yeah. He did a lot for small bespectacled men.
Yeah, he did a lot for Jews, and Seth Rogen really helped people like me.
Yeah, he really moved the culture along.
Helped it chubby. Seth Rogen brought in Chubby.
Seth Rogen brought in Chubby, would you say?
I feel like he was the first like chubby guy.
No, look at Kevin. Oh no, he's not Jewish, is he? So Chubby is Jewish.
Well, he's
guy.
Kevin James. Yeah, but Seth Rogen. Yeah, I mean Kevin James brought in but Kevin James not in really rom-coms.
No, you're right.
He just has a hot girl in a
Until then,
comedy.
men were sort of quirky looking.
Yeah, they were. It was like Billy Crystal, Woody Allen, but Seth Rogen brought chubbiness to Knocked Up.
You're so right. Yeah,
You know?
I can't think right now. Maybe Jim Belushi was the friend.
Yeah, Jim Belushi's the fat friend.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen in Knocked Up was a radical moment. The fat friend became the main character.
Yes,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
it's
That was big.
revolutionary. I don't think that it gets enough credit for that.
That was big.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, we're fucked up for a bit. Yeah, for me, I think the hardest thing with movies and this fantasy addiction is like it took a long time to accept someone being into me.
Yeah,
I found that like
I thought
kind
they
of a
had
turn
bad
off.
taste.
Yeah.
I was like, you fucking idiot.
Yeah,
What do you mean
exactly.
you fancy me? Why would you want to have sex with me when you could have sex with any?
Because you're no longer aloof if the person likes you.
The whole first 3 months of me getting to know James, I had no idea he was into me.
Really?
No idea. And I was always suggesting like beautiful models that he should date. And I had no idea that he's just sitting there waiting for me to wake up and realize. And he had to spell it out to me. Like, it's very awkward that in a post-Me Too world, I really don't know if you're into me unless you're inside me. You know, so it's like impossible for anyone to get near me.
Right.
But we met in like 2014 and started dating in 2015.
Well, we're me and you are perspective skewed. We were chubby growing up, and now we're both.
Yeah, but I was like, why does this thin, handsome,
fucked us up.
famously gorgeous? Yeah,
We're both famous model actresses.
But with James, I just presumed he'll go out with a supermodel, and that's not how I saw myself at the time. But yeah, it's just it's got it. Like, people are walking around with all these scars that they don't realize they got from the arts.
Yes, you're right. No, it's really fucked me up. But how try to figure out like a solution to this problem as we get to the end. How do we make a movie
that actually you make art that doesn't pander to these fucking stereotypes? That's what you do.
But you can't make a movie where people are being boring at a house together, can you?
No, you can't. But you can. But there's still interesting shit that
Right.
happens that's so much more interesting. This is the thing about the 90s, is that they took tiny moments
Yes.
and tiny stories and blew them up. Like,
Right.
what's eating Gilbert Grape? We didn't need robots exploding all the fucking time.
Right.
We would take the minutia of like the world, you know, and what was happening in it, and blow up this tiny facet of a dynamic, and then we would make an entire movie about that, and people would sit and they would be intelligent and they would unpack that and go away and talk about it. We have become so fucking we've underestimated the audiences.
Yes.
We've dumbed them down, and now we have something called second screen fucking viewing.
What is that? The Netflix thing where they're like, you have to
not just
say,
Netflix,
first
like
doctors?
everything where it's like you've got to make sure that people can follow this while they're on their phones. So this is the thing that's being handed out as a dossier throughout Hollywood.
So
not
that's
just Netflix.
I saw that.
It's a genuine thing.
You have to like announce someone's job or something.
You have to announce plot points, where someone's job is. Like, someone has to be able to follow along while they're browsing on their phone.
So
we
evil.
have destroyed culture.
Yeah.
So we have to go back to making, like, this is why when you asked me like what's one of your favorite films of all time, I said The Triangle of Sadness, which is
Yeah.
a very divisive film. But the reason I love that film is because it's like, you can't be on your phone for 2 seconds, otherwise you're fucked in
Also,
that movie.
foreign, so you really be.
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't even
Exactly. But I love foreign cinema partially for the fact that I
can't just be on your
cannot
phone.
look at like Uber Eats while I'm.
Yeah, I mean movies have become like the new books. Like it takes like so much meditation, so much focus to finish a movie now. It's
I
hard
know.
for
I
people.
can't bear it. I can't bear watching how much people are on their phones while they watch television and film, especially being the person that makes the television and film. You're like,
It's
we're on set for 16 hours a day and like all
So much
these
goes
key
into
grips
movies.
and like all these people who are there doing everything, and you're like, you're looking at your phone, and now people are being instructed, rather than to make stuff that's too intelligent, they're being instructed to pander.
It's really sad, and like
that.
people don't know how much effort gets put into movies.
But again, like, it's like Banshees of Inisherin. It's like, it felt like a
great.
comeback of the 90s
Yes,
or the
yes.
noughties, and it felt like, you know, the Good Will Hunting era type
Yes.
film.
A
It even
movie
looked
about
like it was shot on
people.
film.
Movies about people. Yeah.
Exactly. It took a tiny dynamic.
Yeah.
A falling out of two male friends.
Yeah.
And you build an entire fucking crazy movie
Yeah.
about this tiny fallout between
and it
two male
becomes
friends.
almost epic thing.
Yeah.
About how do you have meaning in your life and stuff, whether
Yeah.
it's being seen as a nice person or being remembered, you know, as an artist or something. Yeah.
And talking about male loneliness
Yes.
and all these
Oh,
things that were hidden. Nothing was spelled out to you. You had to go away and actually spend time deconstructing it with a friend afterwards. The Triangle of Sadness, so many people
Same way,
missed
yeah.
what that film was about. I couldn't believe the reviews of that film, just so scathing.
Right,
And it was like the elitist media not liking that they got called out, basically, because
Right,
it's
right.
anti-elitism, that film.
For sure, yeah.
But also the most interesting thing about The Triangle of Sadness is this, and this is the other reason why liberal media hated it, right? Because it's got an inconvenient truth buried in it, right? We believe that being a man makes you more likely to be evil, or being white makes you more. There's a kind of a subtle undertone of you have a predisposition towards evil,
Right.
which is historically factually inaccurate.
And it's also just white centric. It's just like treating white people as if, whether you're saying white people are the
Yeah.
best or white people are evil, you're just making white people the center.
It's just fucking stupid.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, we're all just a product of our fucking environment. Like,
yeah.
yes, they've done the most like global damage, but there's lots of brown people who've hurt brown people, and black people who've hurt black people, and
Yeah,
Chinese
everyone's
people who've hurt
racist,
Chinese people.
everyone's
It's like,
horrible.
Everyone sucks.
Yeah.
The world is terrible.
Yeah.
This is why I really just love dogs. But anyway, my point being that the Triangle of Sadness laid out the inconvenient truth that everyone has a predisposition towards abusing power
Yes.
if they have it.
Yes.
And they make that point so elegantly
With
in
the
so many
woman,
different
yeah,
ways.
the maid or-
But not even at just the maid at the end as the final version of
Right,
that.
right.
It's that beauty is a form of power, and people can
Yes.
abuse their beauty to manipulate someone, or I don't know, wealth, the oligarch. That's a form of power. That's the one
Right.
that we always recognize. So it lays out all these different ways that you can have power in the world. And I was like, oh, I love him for making us hunt for that.
Yes.
For never ever laying that out in the
Spelling
film,
it out,
by just
yeah.
showing the human condition and making us realize that, oh yeah, so a woman of color can still become the villain and
Yes.
become power hungry the second she has access to power, which goes against the liberal narrative.
But it's empowering, and it gives the person agency and sees them as a real person.
Totally.
Not like it's someone with a halo on.
Exactly. It doesn't deify the marginalized, even though she's poor and she's, you know, like she doesn't exist within elitist society. It's like she abuses it and starts sexually harassing a young man.
Quite quickly.
She's literally like sexually exploiting
Once
a
the
young
currency
man.
becomes what
and he
she
immediately
has.
becomes the slave.
Yeah.
He becomes the sex slave immediately.
And it's an important truth about human nature that we all
100%.
are susceptible to that.
I have witnessed bullying and nastiness and egomania from all different people of all different walks of life. It's just as to who gets access. White people are more likely to have access, so therefore they're more likely to have the opportunity to abuse it. But anyone would if they could.
But also, like, the way, like, people treat famous people very annoyingly a lot of times. They'll stop them, pictures, like, interrupt them. They don't treat them as real people.
Yeah.
But they're, like, I guess you think of the celebrity as a higher person, but it's the other people stopping them and treating
And we're
them like
literally like the grossest people in society, like the most uneducated, like ill-informed, out of touch, useless motherfuckers on the planet. Like the last people on earth who should be looked at as as extra special just because we said lines that someone who's actually brilliant wrote. Just leave me alone.
But so like wrapping this up, like maybe.
Yeah, we spent most of the time talking about rom-coms, but
No. I'm glad we got this in about bad.
Yeah, me too. I feel like we put the world to rights.
Yeah, those two movies are incredible. That and After Sun. I don't know if you saw that, but I love that movie.
What's After Sun?
It's with Paul Mescal and
Oh no, I haven't seen that.
it's pretty heartbreaking, but it's
I
pretty
don't like
amazing.
watching sad things at the moment because I'm
don't watch it.
all the newsed out. The
Don't watch
news
it
has
then.
fucked up my brain, and now I just want to watch different things that are amusing.
It's one of those movies that like actually makes you like feel the death of a person.
Oh,
Very
I
few
can't.
movies do
I can't
that.
cope. I asked you to remind me to tell you the most beautiful
Oh yes,
scene
Sorry. Yeah.
in cinema,
Yeah.
and I just remembered before.
Oh,
I would have
glad you
kicked
remembered,
myself
yeah.
afterwards. Okay, so this to me, like, I normally only watch comedy. I never watch things about like, you know, I used to love great epic movies about sad times when the world wasn't. I didn't understand how sad the world was, so I used to love anything that would be a tearjerker or really dark or really epic and violent and all these
like
different
trying to
things.
get sad,
Yeah, but
yeah.
now I can't get away from the sadness and the violence in the news, so now I want to watch comedy. But the one time I saw a romantic moment that changed my life forever, changed the way I viewed love and like believed in real love forever, was this cinematic scene. And now I hold all cinema up to this scene.
Can't wait.
Okay, so you have
It'd be
this.
so funny.
You
if
have
you're like
this.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
They're in
San
space
Andreas
the
with
car.
Dwayne Johnson, which I also love so
Yeah.
much, and I've seen that film 4 times.
I gotta see it, yeah.
Yeah, I have both very highbrow, lowbrow
Yeah.
taste. I love anything disaster movie, Statue of Liberty, head gets cut off and
course.
floats in the water. I'm in. Anyway, so you have this family, right? Small family in a kind of rural part in France. It's called The First Day of the Rest of Your Life, I think. Wait, let me get actually the proper name.
Of the movie? Yeah, I've never heard of this.
Yeah, because it's important. I think it is The First Day of the Rest of Your Life.
First day of the rest of your life.
Yeah, rolls off the tongue. It is the first one. Yeah. Okay. So I think it's called The First Day of the Rest of Your Life. It's a French movie, and you've got this family who live in the kind of suburbs, and the father is a cab driver, and they're middle class, normal family with going through their shit together. The kids are adults, and everyone's got their own tensions, but the father is the sort of like one of the backbones of that family, if not the backbone, and he's the love of the mother's life.
Okay.
And they're so in love, and they've always been so in love. And he starts to get sick halfway through the film, and his back starts to hurt, and she gets him one of those little inflatable pillows for his back pain, so he can have it when he's driving around in his cab all day. And towards the end of the film, he gets sicker and sicker, and then he dies. And you see this scene after the kind of, they've buried him as a post-funeral. She's sitting with the kids, and everyone's just kind of having banter, and everyone's kind of put their differences aside, and she just gets up and she leaves the house, and his cab is still parked outside the house, and she walks over to his cab, and she goes and sits in the passenger seat where she used to sit, and they would chat. And then she looks down at his seat and she sees the pillow.
Oh God.
And she opens the pillow because it's inflatable, because it was the last time he would ever have a chance to breathe on her. Like, it was the last of his breath in there. And she closes her eyes and opens the cap and just lets the oxygen out on her face. And she breathes it in. That was the last time she'll ever get to breathe him in. And it rocked my fucking world. It was the
That's
first
heartbreaking.
time, like, I've been moved by death.
Yeah.
But this was me being moved by love. And I'm English, right? We don't
Yeah.
ever cry about
Right.
anything ever. I was a fucking mess. It traumatized me as to how much you could love someone, as to the loss of love, what that could do to you. And it's the first time I really understood it. And it was so undramatic. She does it. She doesn't cry. There's no theatrics. She just fucking opens it up and lets it empty out, like, onto her face and into her mouth one
It's
last
beautiful. That's incredible. I mean, it's also
time. It's like, why is film not... That is the fucking bar for me now.
Well, it's also like the idea of like that's kind of like that's what a relationship is. You're consuming them and they're dying at the same time. And you're left. That's incredible. I mean, anytime you have objects associated with someone's death, it's so moving.
I know, but to have fucking written that about his
That's
breath
incredible.
being in there
That's
is
incredible.
crazy. It's like the last bit of life of him, and
Yeah.
she's got that last moment with
That's
him because
incredible.
people are often taken too soon before you get a chance to say goodbye, and it's just that last. You wonder what you would have done if you'd had just one more chance or one more, like, if
Yeah.
you'd known it was the last breath or the last kiss or the last goodbye.
That is really amazing. I mean, the whole object thing. Like when my grandpa was like old, he had these these Velcro shoes old people have.
Yeah.
When he died, I came back home and my mom had just thrown his shoes in the trash can and just seeing those Velcro shoes in the trash can.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't like put them up to my face like in the French.
Yeah.
But like it's just
stick them in your mouth.
Yeah. Just seeing the object of someone dead that they used to use alone is like just
I know.
so powerful, because death alone is just like when someone dies, it feels like something's like you're just so used to seeing them in certain places and they're not there. It's weird.
Oh yeah.
See that him alone, like just see that the donut or whatever what's it called?
The inflatable pillow, the cushion. Yeah.
Just to see that alone.
I know.
Oh, that's so sad.
It's so devastating. But to me, that is cinema.
Yeah.
That is cinema. The subtlety of that performance.
Yeah.
The devastation of it. It's like, if it's not that, I don't want it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully in the next Avengers movie, we'll see something like that.
If I was talented enough to write that, I would write it. But
incredible.
But
I
it's
see
just,
this is like
it's so vivid, isn't it?
Yeah, the whole movie's great.
The whole movie's beautiful. But that scene was like traumatized me.
I'm so moved by that. Yeah, it reminds me of the object thing is just fucking yeah. Well, any last words on As Good as It Gets?
I don't care how inappropriate or bigoted that movie. I think it's a masterpiece that does more to explain people that we don't like or who don't like us than any of the social justice that has occurred in the last 10, 15 years. And I think we need a huge comeback of comedy.
Yes.
I like real comedy, inappropriate comedy. And I think that
where people aren't labeled, like he's not labeled.
And we need to bring back intelligence to cinema because the dumbing down of it is so depressing. Like, it's so rare. Succession was like the last TV show that I saw that I really loved the writing of, and Ozark as well. Certain shit now I think is trying too hard to be clever and weird, and then doesn't actually move you at all. And so I think the next generation, if there's any writers or directors listening to this, like, step up and make the weird thing. Because like the Triangle of Sadness was, I know it's a strange movie and it's got loads of vomiting and shitting in it, an entire act of vomit and shit, which is a little bit too much. But intelligent cinema is it's not frivolous.
Right.
Art is anything but frivolous.
Right,
Art has the power to completely transform culture.
Yeah.
Take it fucking seriously. Don't succumb to these assholes. Group together, make it independently.
Well,
send me the script.
It's amazing.
I'm interested.
It's amazing how, like, out of all the like Avenger giant whatever buildings blown up, like just someone like breathing into a pillow. Yeah. Takes no money to make.
No.
Just that thing
Truly.
Can be the most moving thing you ever saw.
Yeah. You didn't even see it.
Yeah.
And I watched you nearly fucking like break down. It's and like be gut wrenching, be brave.
Yeah.
And please God, can we have people to get rid of the stereotypes? Just to start, let's just start. You can break down anything in society.
Yeah. Let's have more fat friends be the main characters.
Yeah, let's have
we did
fat
it
women
Knocked
be
Up,
with thin men. Let's have tall women, short men.
Well, do you have any? Well, this has been such a lovely talk. Do you have any plugs?
Oh, I do. Yeah. Fuck. Sorry. So I have a podcast that starts this week. I don't know when this comes out, but I have a podcast.
This week,
Oh, great. So I have a podcast that's starting this week. It's a comedy podcast. It's a comedy disaster podcast called Wrong Turns. It's the antithesis of everything I've been speaking about today. It's completely stupid and ridiculous. But it's rejecting inspiration culture of manipulating people into thinking that every good thing that happens to you has to have some great silver lining and great, pearl of wisdom gained. I become dumber sometimes for my own mistakes and fuck ups, and so it's just me and great comedians like yourself coming on and telling us your humiliating moments or disaster moments, and us not having learned anything from them.
It's great.
Whatsoever. It's called Wrong Turns.
Yeah, check it out. It's a great new pod. It's exciting. Yeah, I feel like I really did the perfect thing by telling a story. I felt like it was the wrong story.
Yeah.
I felt like the podcast, I just chose like a knot.
It was because you're naturally entertaining. You just about saved it, but no,
Like John
it was
Marco had
great.
just like a fun little comedy story, and I'm like, my girlfriend had a stroke. Wasn't even about me.
It was perfect.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a great podcast. Check it out. If you're also wanting to see me Thursday, special taping this Thursday night.
Woo-woo.
Get tickets now. The 8 p.m., the 7:30 is pretty much sold out, but I still got tickets for the 9 p.m. And if you get them now, type loud in the promo code, you can get $10 tickets. So do it now. It'll be in the caption, and or you can go to punchup.live/Raanan/tickets. And thank you so much for being on this. This was
Thanks
great.
for having me. I could talk about this for 10 years.
I know. It was awesome. We'll have you back. Yeah.
Great.
Raanan is fat and he's a Jew. He'll tell you something that you already knew. Your favorite movie sucks. Your favorite movie sucks. American Beauty or Forrest Gump. Your favorite movie sucks.